All right. Selling is presenting an idea to another person. Right? Selling is nothing more than presenting an idea to a person. They may or may not like that idea. They may or may not be interested in that idea. They may or may not take that idea, which is why you need a lot of ideas. Right? An idea is, I'm going to do $1 million follow-up at the lodge. Would you like to come fix your follow-up? No, I'm busy that day. It's okay. I'm doing person of interest at the lodge on this date. I'm doing an event with Grover on this date. We're doing this. Selling is initiating. Everybody understand that? Selling is not waiting on somebody to call you, waiting on somebody to have a problem, waiting on something to happen. Selling is initiating. Okay? Follow-up is initiating. Okay, if you didn't like that product, right? You're in the locksmith business, right? Most locksmiths, these guys came from?
I come from Kansas.
Kansas.
I'm from Missouri.
Kansas? Okay. He's from Kansas and he's from Missouri is what he said. Here's the point. Most people in the locksmith business have absolutely no selling system whatsoever. They don't initiate anything. They just put a sign on their truck and they put an ad out and they say, we're in the locksmith business. If you ever get locked out of something, call us. Here's what I'd be doing. If I was in the locksmith business, I'd be calling every one of you. And here's what I'd say. You may not get locked out today, but you're going to get locked out at some point. And when you do, I'm going to be right there. When we went to Kansas to speak, Paul was with us. Eric locked the keys in the car. Remember that, E? And he left my keys in Louisville, Kentucky once. What's the lesson? Don't give Eric the keys. They call me, they're like, your car keys are in Louisville at the speaking engagement. I'm like, what? But we go to Kansas City, I'm speaking, Paul comes, we lock the keys in the car. Thank God we got a locksmith with us, right? Here's my point. Here's my point. Most locksmiths do not initiate anything. They just sit around and wait on somebody to call them. Selling is initiating. Selling is following up to find an idea that works. This idea may not work, but we will find an idea that works for you. And we're going to keep going until we do find an idea that works for you. Okay? Here's one of my favorite lines that I say to a person when I'm going through the process of selling. Okay? I can't help you until you commit, but once you commit, I'm not going to let you fail. I can't help you until you commit. But once you commit, I'm not going to let this thing fail. You follow what I'm saying? You need to have a line that when there's a moment of truth and Chad is interested, but he's scared. The reason he's not moving is because he's scared of something, but he's not going to tell me what he's scared of. Fear. Fear breeds vacillation, doubt, insecurity. He wants to do it, but he's scared to do it for whatever reason. You have to have a line that's your favorite line that says, look, Chad, I can't help you until you commit, man, but once you commit, I'm not going to let you fail. Because right now I'm helping 700 to 1,000 people. And I can't help you get the results I'm getting for them unless you commit. Now, are you in? Selling is about building enthusiasm. Where he's like, I'm in. Let's go do this. Now, as soon as he commits, he's going to get scared again. We had a guy come in Chattanooga the other day to my coaching program. As soon as he got home, he got scared. Then he's trying to backpedal out of it. Okay? You just committed like an hour ago. But this is indicative of how everybody does. They make a commitment to something, then they get scared because they made a commitment. Buyer's remorse for all my mortgage people kicks in within 30 seconds of signing the papers. Okay, if you don't think when I bought this thing I wasn't scared to death, did I want it? Yes. But after I wrote that big check on that down payment, I'm like, whoa. Now we got to figure out how to make it work. Now we're committed. We're committed because I got a payment every month on this thing and I got to figure out how to make it happen. You understand what I'm saying? But don't think I wasn't scared. Don't think I'm not scared every day I wake up. So if you're trying to sell me something, what should you be trying to do? What is part of your follow-up? What are you trying to do in your follow-up? Ease that fear. Help me not be afraid. Right? If you sold me this lodge, you should be constantly reaffirming me. This is a great decision. This is a huge asset. You're going to be able to make a lot of money with this thing. You're going to be able to rent it. You're going to be able to do all kinds of things. Like if you sold me this lodge, you need to constantly be reselling me on why it was a good decision for me. Because I'm scared. Part of the follow-up you got to understand is feeding people information so it calms their croc brain. Croc brain is the alligator part of their brain that operates in fear. And it is afraid of everything. It's afraid you're going to hurt me. So everything I do is like I'm looking around because I think you're going to hurt me. You have to let me know you're not going to hurt me. You're going to help me. When we meet a person, we sum them up very quickly. Asset or liability. This guy's going to help me or this guy's going to hurt me. If you want to calm people's fears, part of the follow-up is calming that fear. I'm not here to hurt you, man. Have you ever heard John Maxwell speak? First line he always says is, I'm John, and I'm your friend. And he's got this grandfatherly voice, makes you feel so calm. You're like, man, this guy would never hurt me, which is why he sold 60 million books. And I was convinced when he spoke at 10X this year, I even called Cardone. I'm like, it'll never work. He is an awful choice for 10X. That audience will never warm up to John Maxwell. Maxwell is 70-something years old. These are a bunch of millennials. And you know what? I was wrong. He was so good. He connected every person in that stadium. And I'm like, man, I was wrong. He was incredible, which won me over to him because he calms you. He calms your fears, right? That's part, you think the follow-up is always sell me something, which is part of your problem. You're constantly trying to sell me something. And the more you try to sell me, guess what? It alerts my croc brain more, right? So if these guys call a person and say, how was your experience? What can we do better to make it a better experience for you the next time? If I feel like every time you call me, you're trying to sell me something, I move into a defensive position. I'm like, dang, this dude it's a transaction to this person. So some of the follow-up is, hey, Aaron, how's it going? How can I help you? I had a big idea the other day. I just took a meeting with Derek. There's something you and Derek can do together. Some of the follow-up is just adding value. It's not trying to sell you something every time I call you. Everybody understand that? But I say to a person, Brian, I can't help you till you commit, but once you commit, I'm not going to let you fail. Okay? Now, here are some follow-up blues. I'm a big stats person because I was a coach. Everything we did was percentages. Stats. Here's some stats on follow-up. Look at that first one. Less than 9% of people remember their salesperson's name after the transaction is over. The power of a person's name. Less than 9% of people remember their salesperson's name after the transaction is over. Okay? 67% of people use the very first person that contacts them. Everybody see that? So let's go back to Paul. I don't have a locksmith. I just call somebody from the whatever, Google, Yellow Pages. But if Paul called me and said, hey, if you ever have a problem, here's my personal number, 67% of people would use Paul. Very first person that contacted them about the product or service. How many of you have done a deal and you used the very first person that contacted you? Now, I didn't ask you if you used the best one or the most experienced one or the best looking one. I asked you, did you use the first one? Which is what happens for almost everybody. The first person to call someone is typically the person they use. Which is why we call on people all day long. We make between 180 and 160 phone calls a day. Here's what my sales team tells me. Nobody answers the phone. Real estate agents are the worst.
They need new phones. They need new phones.
They do need new phones, Bob. Here's the point. 67% of people out there are going to use the very first real estate agent they get on the phone. They're not going to use the best one, the most experienced one. They're going to use the first one. So it's a problem when you don't answer the phone. Okay? It's a problem when you don't answer the phone. Because there's opportunity that's calling you, but you ain't answering it, right? So what do? Move on to the next person. Because they think it's a commodity. So my point is, you can take that insurance, mortgage, right? Like the first person. So we got to initiate, and we got to answer the phone, and we got to be accessible. And I always joke with Natalie when somebody calls me after hours, and, you know, do I need to take this phone call or not? Because a lot of people say, I don't take phone calls at night. I don't take them on the weekends. I don't take them on Sunday. I always joke with Natalie, and I say, hey, do you like living in this big house we live in? What do you say, sweetheart? Of course I do. You know what I say? I got to step out and take this phone call. You know what she says? Go ahead. Go ahead. Success, it doesn't come in a box with a bow around it. If I'm up at 6 a.m. in the morning, I'm calling people 6 a.m. in the morning. You understand what I'm saying? If I'm traveling back, like last night I was in Louisville, Kentucky, When I get back at night on the way home, 7:30, I'm calling people. Because that's the only time I have to talk sometimes. So what if I'm calling you with a multi-million-dollar opportunity on the other end of it, but you don't answer the phone? Right? You say, well, he'll come back to it the next day. Well, what if the next day I got another idea and another opportunity? I already forgot about the opportunity I called you about last night. So accessibility is very important. We already talked about this one, 7 to 15 touches. So this would make sense. If you don't have a 7-touch system, then you're losing money. Okay? That's important. Each transaction should be worth roughly 5.7 referrals over the lifetime of the consumer. How many of you have sent more than 5.7 referrals to somebody before? All relationships are not equal. You can't look at every relationship. Some people don't have any referral capacity because they don't have any friends. Some people have a bunch of friends. So it would be unfair if Aaron could send me 100 referrals and Brian could send me a few referrals. These relationships, as it relates to my business, are not equal relationships. I should be spending more time with Aaron. I should be following up with him more. I should be in his face more because he could send me 100 referrals. He's a feeder system for me. But what do? We give equal time to a lot of people. All relationships are not equal. Now, here's the cold hard truth. We're all losing lots of money due to poor follow-up. Here's one of my favorite sayings. Newton's law. An object at rest stays at rest unless acted on by an outside force. An object at rest stays at rest unless acted on by an outside force. Think of all the people that are in your farm club right now. Your farm club are people that have indicated interest in using your services, but they haven't come to a buying decision. Now, why have they not come to a buying decision?
You haven't followed up.
That's right. You haven't followed up with them, and they're, Cole, afraid.
Yes.
They're afraid of something. You just haven't figured out what it is yet. They're not telling you what they're afraid of, which is part of your follow-up. So what I say is it seems like you want to do this, but you're stuck on one thing. Are you stuck on the price? Are you stuck on a relationship with somebody else? It seems like you want to do this, but you're stuck on one thing. Am I right about that? And many times they'll go, no, it's not that, it's this. Go back to my line. I can't help you until you commit. But once you commit, I'm not going to let you fail. Everybody understand? You need these lines. Call them scripts, call them whatever you want to. You need to have these go-to things you say. Here's what I say. We're losing momentum. We're losing momentum. Have you ever been on the wrong side of momentum?
Yes.
Everybody has. You know what they'll say? Oh, God, yeah, I have been on the wrong side of momentum. I don't want that to happen right here because we're losing momentum. If you're a financial advisor, well, Brad, here's the deal. You're losing the forward momentum of your money right now. Every second your money is sitting there in a bank account that's not earning anything is a second we cannot get back. Now, I can't help you get the forward momentum of that money until you take action. But once you take action, I'm going to be right there beside you because I'm your friend. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to help you. Everybody understand this? Too many people get combative in selling. They get a me versus you attitude. It's like, what's wrong with you? Why wouldn't you take action? Why can't you see this? This is stupid. Every time you make me feel that way, it's important how a person thinks about you, how a person feels about you, how a person believes in you. So if I think, man, this dude's just here he don't care about me. He cares about himself. That's important, okay? So, but I believe this. You're in a static posture because you don't have enough information yet. That's why you're not moving. Because if you had enough information, you'd already take action. Right or wrong?
Opportunity, coach. I got to step out.
Okay? Go get it, brother. Go get it. So it takes 7 to 15 touches 80% of the time. I'm glad we got this on video. Now, 2 problems here. How many of you do have a 7-touch system in place? Be honest. It's okay if you do. All right, so if you do have a 7-touch system, it may not be effort, it may be methodology. So if you do have a 7-touch system in place, your effort may be there. What you're saying may be wrong. And I'll show you what not to say today. Okay? Now, let's say we come into a day. And every day I'm going to look at 2 things. This is very important because this is part of your follow-up. When I come into the day, my days are pre-planned in our Monster Planner. And if you don't have one of these planners, you need to get one today. They're $15, change your whole life. And it is tied to my selling system. So every day that I come into a day, the day is pre-planned with my activities. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. Okay? And I make a lot of notes in mine. Okay? I make a lot of notes in mine. So if you see, when I come into the day, this is part of my follow-up plan. If I go into the day and my names are not listed, I'm like, well, who am I supposed to call today? Who's the highest value of my time? So here's what I do. I go into the day, and the first thing I look at is this. Here's my monthly goal. That's the number I'm trying to drive in a 30-day cycle. Here's my actual. And there's a discrepancy between my actual and my goal. Then I look at what day it is. March 5. This is very critical. And I say, here's where I want to go. Here's where I am. Here's what day it is. I.e., here's how many days I have left to hit my number. Okay? Everybody see that? Then I block the day off. And I go time blocking on this side. And I literally put everything on there. What time I wake up, what time I get dressed, what time I spend with my family, what time when I'm traveling, it says travel to and from. Like I literally write out everything I got that day. Everybody with me? Okay? And I put that over on the left side of the planner. So I time block. Our goal is meet at 8:30, team meeting, and train. Because I believe training is not something you did, it's something you do. From 9 to 11, nothing but outbound prospecting. Break for lunch, somewhere in there, if you need lunch. I told somebody the other day, you can't be superhuman and have to eat lunch every day. That's kind of part of being superhuman, right? You ain't got to stop and eat. Okay? Y'all are like, I'd love to work with this guy. 1 to 3, we're back to prospecting again. Outbound. Now, this doesn't mean our operations team is not serving customers all day. But I'm trying to get a schedule and a rhythm of 2-hour blocks of nothing but outbound prospecting. Now, during my prospecting, I'm going to show you the groups I work. Because if you come over to this side of the planner, I've got specific things. I've got my top 3 high-value activities. These are the 3 biggest things I got to do that day to consider it a win. 3 wins a day, 5 days a week, 15 a week, 60 a month. 60 a month times 12, 720 wins. If you get 720 wins in a year, you're going to have a good life. Everybody with me? So these are big things I got to do. 3 big high-value activities I got to do. At the end of the day, I got to say, I got these 3 done. That was a win. If I don't get these 3 done, I'm like, today wasn't a win. Today was a loss. Everybody see this? Now, I then go to 2 groups. My hit list, that is new money. This is anybody that represents new money. So when I come into the day, here's the sales cycle. What I'm trying to do is feed new money into that cycle. Okay? These are hit list people. Hit list is anybody you think can generate new money. Okay? That hit list can come from direct leads that you're generating. Okay? Aaron, you and Tony, y'all purchase leads, correct? So do you generate them or do you purchase them? Both. Okay, so you got leads feeding into the cycle. Okay? Those leads, in my opinion, are hit list leads. We don't know if they're qualified people or not until what? Till we initiate. So if you're trying to generate business, you're coming into the day and you're going, I'm calling on these 5 people. These are my hit list. 2 of them are strategic partners. So for Miguel and his group, he may say there's 2 strategic partners we need to know in Chattanooga. We're going to reach out to those people today, just like you did me the other night. Hey, I got this place. If you ever want to have an event, that's strategic partnering. But every day he needs to have a couple of these on there. I'm reaching out to these 2 people, try to get them in our restaurant, expose what we have to them. He could be calling on past clients. So let's say he's got a couple past clients. He's calling and say, hey, I haven't seen you in the restaurant for a while. Want to get you back in. past clients. So he may have 2 of those. Then he may have current clients that he's calling to say, hey, how's it going? Aaron, how's it working? There's a couple new strategies. There's 2 people I want to introduce you to. Aaron, when I got you on the phone, there's probably 2 or 3 people that need to be in our program that I don't know. Can you bring them with you next month? Everybody see that? I'm not going in that conversation without asking for a referral. If I've had revelation, I've got conviction, why would I be scared to ask him for new business? Everybody with me? So my hit list represents every day. I called it that because I'm hitting something. I'm hitting somebody. Everybody with me? Every day I come into the day, I got a hit list of people I'm hitting. But it's pre-planned. I don't come into the day and go, who am I going to call on today? I'm always got somebody, okay? So the hit list, every day I come into the day, I got this hit list, which is feeding this pipeline. Now, if you don't have enough prospects, i.e. enough leads, in my opinion, it's because you're not feeding the hit list. So how do I feed that hit list? Strategic partners, past clients, current clients, direct leads. Everybody see that? That represents my hit list. Current clients, I'm asking. Sometimes I'm selling a second product or service to the hit list. Okay? This is my hit list. If you're not coming into the day with this right now, in my opinion, you're already behind, guys. You're already behind because you're playing catch up every day. Selling is what? Initiating. So James comes in, he goes, look, I'm calling on 2 past clients today. I'm calling on 2 strategic partners today. I'm calling on some current clients today, and I'm hitting a couple new leads today during my prospecting times. I'm generating, I'm hit, right? I'm not waiting. I'm working, okay? Second thing you'd see on my planner is what's called my farm club. This is very critical. The farm club represents people who have indicated interest in my product or service, but we have not closed them. I ask my sales team every day for red zone conversions. Give me your top 5 people that are closest to closing. I'll personally call them. Everybody with me? So there's a vetting process of them reaching out to people, finding out if they're legitimate and serious, and then they send me in a text message, their red zone conversions. These are people that I can get involved to close. But every person should have a list, in my opinion, of 5 to 15 people in your farm club that day that you're trying to close. How many touches are we going with these people in the farm club? Minimum of 7. We may have to go 7 touches up here just to get their attention. Right? So we're going to have a 7-touch system here. We're going to have a 7-touch system here. So every day, I got 5 to 15 people on my, like that day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 people on my hit list, 7 people in my farm club, 1 or 2 people in my top 25 list. Okay? So I got my farm club, which is what we're mainly working on today, and I've got one more category on there, my top 25. These are 25 key relationships. 25 influencers. Everybody with me? Every day I try to hit 3 of my top 25. Okay?
Coach, is that on a repeatable cycle, your top 25?
Yes.
So it's whatever, 5,
Yep.
10 a week? and
Yep.
you do- So that every 6 weeks you're touching each one of them?
I'm touching the top 25 people as much as I can. Try to hit 3 a day. What am I doing? Just creating opportunity. Just touching them. Just loving on them. Just spending time with them. You understand what I'm saying? Okay?
Coach, just to clarify, so your hit list are people who don't even know what they don't know.
That's right.
And you're wanting to just reel them in.
That's right.
Help break through any of that just to make them aware. And then your farm club is people who have expressed interest and they're just not there.
That's right.
You're just layering on with the follow-up. And so what's the top 25?
All right, the top 25 is where, so it's a great question. The top 25 is, let's say you started as a suspect to me, hit list. I called and initiated a conversation with you. During the conversation, I built rapport, I did discovery, I shared my explanation of service. You said you were interested, but you're not ready to buy yet. You move off my hit list to my farm club. Right? You move off my hit list to my farm club. I've already hit you. You've already said you're interested. Now I shift the gears. Now you're in a new category. Now you're in my farm club. You're sitting right here. You're a true prospect. What if I call you and I find out you're crazy and I don't want to do business with you? Right? So here's the deal. When did I tell you I know if I'm going to pursue this? I made up my mind the first time I talked to you if I'm going the distance or not. And if I tell you I'm going the distance, I'm going the distance, man. So now I move you to this. Now you're going to sit right here for one reason. What's the reason you're sitting in my farm club? You're afraid of something. Part of the follow-up is feeding you more information so you're not afraid anymore. It's calming your fear. So we're going to have a series of linear and nonlinear touches. Linear touch is a direct touch, it's like boxing. Boom, knockout punch. Nonlinear is like a jab. Jab. So here's an example to your question. Miguel, so current client, but I got this $1 million follow-up coming up. Now I have something new to offer him, new idea to present to him. I put him on my hit list. I call him and I say, hey man, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you know I'm doing $1 million follow-up or not. Be incredible. We're going to work on a 7-touch system. Here's my promise to you. Are you interested in that? He says, yes, I'm interested. Let me talk to my people. Is he my prospect? Yes. But he's a current client. I just got another idea to sell to him. Follow me? Now I may have to go back to him, text message, phone call, email, video message, because he's busy. He's running restaurants. He's got a bunch of stuff going on. I got to keep his attention till he says, Coach, I'm in. He comes. He's now a client for this particular thing. If we do a great job, he moves from a client to a promoter. Means he's telling people good things about us. But we're not there in our relationship yet. That's not really where I want to get him to. Where I want to get him to is an advocate. And an advocate are people that are fighting for you in the market and you don't even know it. So new business is inflowing and you're like, where's this business coming from? And it's coming from somebody out there pumping you. So that's your top 25. Now, I wanted to speak at a conference for one of my good friends, but I wasn't on the docket. And then I get a call one day and said, hey, we got this worked out for you to speak at this. And I'm like, well, who worked it out? It's these guys right here. They went to the person who's having the conference and they said, look, we have a relationship with Coach Burt and he's going to speak at your conference because we're one of your big sponsors. Am I right about this? So they're like, look, he's speaking. Okay? And the guy said, okay. I had no idea that was happening. I had no idea that conversation was happening. I didn't ask him to do it for me. So Eric comes in my office one day and said, hey, these guys are fighting for you. So I picked up the phone, I called and said, thank you. Thank you for fighting for me to get me on that stage. Because that stage opens me up to new opportunity. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't have to do that for me. So how do you think I feel about them? What do you think I want to do for them? Fight for them. See, the way people don't get this, the way you build advocacy in another person is you advocate for them. You get lost in their dreams. You help them advance their ball down the field. And when you do, they're going to want to do the same thing for you. Everybody see that? So this is very critical to your follow-up because most people do not have a top 25. Top 25 are people that have gone through this whole cycle with you and absolutely love you and you love them. What's happening is, what if you have no engagement with them? How many of you at once had a real good relationship with a person that was feeding you business and you didn't touch them, you didn't talk to them, you didn't have time with them, and you lost that relationship? What they did is they took all their support and they put it to somebody else. They still had all the deals, they just sent them to somebody else, not you, because you didn't love on them enough. So this, if you ask me in our selling system where you make the most money, it's right here. Do you see how follow-up is tied to this though? You'll never get to this level if you don't 7 to 15 touches to get their attention, 7 to 15 touches to get them. Once you get them, 7 to 15 touches to move them over here. What if you had 100 advocates? What if you had 1,000 advocates? So I'm not going to be an advocate of yours if there's no engagement with you and I. You follow what I'm saying? And if I don't think you're fighting for me. I'm going to fight for people that I think are fighting for me. Everybody understand that? Here's the problem. Somebody else is in there with your client too, trying to fight for them. Somebody else is hitting on your client right now. And they're saying, look, I can advocate for you better than they can. So you have to guard these relationships. Right? You have to guard, you have to love on these relationships and nourish these relationships, because somebody else is right at the door waiting for you to mess up. And when you mess up, somebody's right there. And they may have been following up for years to get the attention of your client. Everybody see that? Okay? So just like I was reading in Luke 12:12 this morning in the Bible, I was reading, it talks about guard your heart. Then it goes into talk about guard yourself from greed, guard yourself from, you have to guard your relationships. And you have to nourish those relationships, and that is part of follow-up. Because people start with good intention, they fall off the wagon, and then they feel guilty about it. So how many of you have ever lost a customer to somebody and you knew you lost them because you weren't paying enough attention to them? We all have. That's part of follow-up, right? That's part of follow-up. Now, the only other thing I have on my planner are new customers. It's very important. We have worked really hard to get better at this. When we get a new client, I want something to happen quickly. Because we live in such a world of instant gratification. When I partner with a person, it's like I expect something to happen that day. Okay? And for a while, we were very bad at this. I didn't have a person over this area. I didn't have people who were watching this onboarding, is what it's called. So Autumn signs up. Autumn's got expectation, right? Something's going to happen. Something needs to happen here. Okay? So my philosophy is this. When somebody signs up with you, something needs to happen when? Immediately. It needs to initiate a follow-up system like, okay, you're in. Step 1, step 2, step 3, let's go. Because what that does is it calms that fear that this is a good or bad investment. Like, you don't want to sign up for something and go, man, this is the worst thing I ever did. You want to sign up and go, right? I hired Hank Norman and Steve Carlos to help me for a period of time. They own Star Power. They coach a lot of big-time people on their message. And the minute I said yes, and the minute I signed that agreement, it was like they had people sitting in a room, like on a hamster wheel, just working. It's like, as soon as I said yes, they're like, okay, here's your schedule next week. You're going to be on these shows. You're going to be doing these podcasts. We're going to redo this. We're going to do this. They were introducing me to people. It's like I was so impressed that something immediately happened. It made me forget about all the money I was spending with them. Everybody with me? That's the world we live in today. Okay? Any questions about this piece? Now, if you got a sales team...
25 don't have to be any specific number.
That's correct.
It could be 2. So as long as
Start small with 5 relationships. Then build 10. Let me ask you a question. Do I have to be one of your customers to be in your top 25? No. I could just be a big fan of yours. For some reason I'm not using you. Maybe I've got a relationship with somebody else I can't get out of. Maybe whatever. But I can advocate for you and fight for you. You don't just want me, you want my referrals too. So this relationship, so look at the activity I got every day. Now, if you have a sales team and they're using the planner, what can you do? Show me your planner. Who's on your hit list today? Who's in your farm club? What top 25 are you touching? This, like I was working with Farm Credit yesterday at Mid-America, and all of their people are on my system, all of their loan originators. And here's the deal. I was coaching their managers, and I'm like, look, you should be able to ask any one of your people at any time, who's on your hit list today? Who's in your farm club today? Who's in your top 25 today? And if they are doing this much activity, added with the phone calls, there's no way they're not selling something. And if they're not selling something after they do this much activity, something is wrong, skill-wise.
How far do you go with them before you determine that you're going to take them off the top 25?
Great question. You could fall out of the top 25. Let's say Chad's in my top 25, but he's not reciprocating any of this value I give to him. I feel lack of appreciation from him. Okay? Let's say he's not sending me any referrals. I'm just going to quietly remove him out of that top 25. And I'm going to put somebody else in. We were joking yesterday because Mel, my new assistant, was saying she was getting all these friend requests because we announced that she was my assistant. So now all of my friends want to be friends with her on Facebook. So she's like, I got this huge influx of people wanting to be my friend because now I'm your assistant, right? And I'm like, well, accept them. She's like, I ain't accepting them. I don't accept them unless I've met them. I'm like, I get it. I understand. My wife gets this too. And I said, well, I've got 5,000 friends on Facebook. I can't add any more friends because Facebook won't let you get over 5,000. But I got 915 asking to be my friend. I got 915 over here trying to get in, right? So when I lose one, and I lose one a day, I go over here and I invite one of those 915 to come on and be part of the party. Does that make sense? Surely to goodness, out of 5,000 or 5,915, I can find 25 that we can be like this with each other. See how, like people look at this like, oh my God, how do I get 25 people? It ain't hard. Now, 25 people sending you 3 referrals a year, 75 new deals a year. And here's what I know out of your top 25. They won't send you crappy deals. Those 25 people will send you great people because they're great people. Great people telling other great people how great you are. Everybody see that? Okay? So, any questions about my selling system right here? Now this is not, we do a whole day on legacy selling. This is not the whole selling system. I just want to show you how it's important. But you're seeing hit list, follow up, farm club follow up, top 25 follow up, okay? Take a second right now and talk about where you're deficient in this. If you're not planning your days out right now, that's your first problem. Is you're coming into the day playing defense versus offense. You should be coming into the day playing offense versus defense. This helps you do it. Time block on one side, goals on the other side. Hit list, farm club, top 25, new customers. Those are the 4 categories you should be focused on every day, okay? Take a second right now and talk about where you're deficient in these areas. Now, are you seeing deficiencies in your system? Yes or no? Okay, so there's a few questions that came up. Top 25. I'm not magically, for the most part, going to be in your top 25 immediately. We're going to go through a cycle with each other. Okay, this is very big. In the South, people do business with people like you get to know them, and you like them, and you do some social things together, and then they say, I would like to be one of your customers. It's not transactional, right? Like we're not magically going to meet and all of a sudden you're going to be in my top 25. Okay? We're going to meet. We're going to spend time with each other. I'm going to add value to your life. You're going to add value to my life. Over a period of time, we're going to become close. I'm going to consider you one of my biggest advocates. Okay? I don't have to tell you you're one of my top 25, although you can. You could say you're one of the 25 most valuable relationships we have. I'm going to follow up with you, stay involved with your life, add a significant amount of value to you. Okay? The only thing I expect is reciprocity in that relationship. Okay? And if you don't want a one-sided relationship, you want a vested partnership, which means I'm fighting for you and you're fighting for me. I'm leveraging my influence to help you, and you're leveraging your influence to help me. That's top 25. Now, a question came up about high-value activity. A high-value activity is a money-generating activity. It's a money-generating activity. A low-value activity is any activity you do that does not move you closer to your goal. This is a tangible number you're trying to hit, right? This activity drives you toward that number. Goofing off, messing around, playing on Facebook, having low-value conversations, having a bunch of drama during the day, none of those things have anything to do with moving you closer to your goal. High-value activity is, look, I got to do these 3 things a day. These are big things. Okay? These activities are already pre-planned. And what I'm trying to do is just feed this cycle, feed this cycle. Now, I'm going to show you one slide, then I'm going to let you take a break. So every day I got a hit list, and every day I got a farm club. Hit list represents what? New money. Can I get the new money from current customers? Can I get the new money from past customers? Yes. Can I get the new money from direct leads? Yes. Can I get the new money from strategic partners? Yes. Every day, I'm working it. I'm working it. Okay? Every day, I got a list of farm club people. Farm club represents what? That's right. That's business that's in the pipeline that you haven't closed. An object at rest stays at rest unless acted on by an outside force. I can't help you until you commit. Once you commit, I'm not going to let you fail. We're losing the power of momentum every day we don't take action with each other. So you'd see me do videos, you'd see me do text messages, you'd see me do all kinds of things to build enthusiasm toward the close. Follow what I'm saying? Many of you have millions of dollars sitting in your farm club that you haven't closed. Okay? Now, why do I need all of this activity? And this is what I want to show you before you take a break. This is the numbers that I show everybody. This is the law of diffusion and innovation. It tells me this is how people make decisions. 2.5% of the population see something, act on it fast. They're called innovators. They have an idea, they take action on it. They don't talk about it, they don't dream about it, they don't do anything, they do it. But look how small that the population that is. These 2.5% dominate everybody else. Everybody with me? In the sales cycle, these 2.5% of people walk in your store, they see something they like, I'll take it, let's go. This is how I shop. I walk in, I like it, let's go. Pack it up. I don't think about it, I don't talk about it, I don't sleep on it. If I like it, I take action on it. Why would we waste time? I know I like it, I know I want to do it, why don't we just do it? Okay? These people see something one time in a sales cycle and take action on it. Has a lot to do with, do we believe the same things? I'm in. These people are early adopters. They have to see something 1 to 3 times. So they started on the hit list. I had a conversation with them. They got to see a little bit more. Doesn't make them wrong. They just need to see it 1 to 3 times. And if you're selling a complex product, like some of you are in financial services, selling financial services are complex. You're very seldom going to sit down with a person one time and they say, oh yeah, I'm going to let you manage all of my money. You're going to sit down and explain it. They're going to go, let me go think about it, study on it, read a book about it, talk to somebody else about it. Come back and see it. Let's do it again. Second time, don't see it yet. Still scared to take action. Need to talk to my wife about it. Need to sleep on it. Need to pray about it. Third time, come back. Early adopter will go, okay, I've seen enough to make a decision. So one key phrase you can say to people is, have you seen enough to make a decision? Early adopters or innovators have seen enough the very first time to make a decision. So when people come to my coaching program, I'll walk up and I'll say, hey, have you seen enough to make a decision? First time. Because I don't know. Some people say, what? Yes, I have. Okay, let's go and get you signed up. I don't know until I ask that question. Have you seen enough to make a decision? No, I haven't seen enough to make a decision. Still need to think about it. Okay. These people are called early majority. They need to see something 3 to 7 times. They want social proof. Let me see if it's working for somebody else. Like I have mortgage originators call me and they'll say, well, is it working for somebody else like you're coaching? And I'm like, well, I'm coaching a $147 million producer. And I've been her coach for 6 years. Is that enough social proof for you? Because that really ain't the objection. That's a stall tactic. Well, let me see if it's working for anybody else in the mortgage industry. Well, if I showed you $500 million producers I'm coaching and you still don't take action, is that your objection? No, that's just a stall. See what I'm saying? But I don't know that until I come at you and say, is that really the reason you're not moving forward with me? Seems like you want to do it, but you ain't stuck on it. If it works for somebody else, you're stuck on the price, or you're stuck on you can't get your mind around this investment. They're afraid of something. Now, so these people over here, late majority, need to see it 7 to 15 times. These people will get in, although they're very skeptical. In my experiences, the people that I've got in over here are always the first ones trying to get out. They're so skeptical. They're very hard to please. They're late to the party. They're only getting in really because why? Because they got FOMO. They got a fear of missing out. So they don't really get in for the right reasons. They get in for the wrong reason. They get in because everybody else is in. Why am I not in? But they're always the first one trying to run out. But sometimes you get a good one, catch a good fish over here, 7 to 15 touches, and that's just part of it, late majority. These people are laggards. What does that mean? How many touches do you have to go with the laggard? They ain't never going to get it. You could go 150 touches. These people, you need to move on. These are people you're trying to convince. manipulate. And that's not what you're looking for, okay? Now, for every 30 people you talk to, this tells me that 4.8 are right here. For every 30 people you talk to, there's 4.8 of those people that are over here. Okay? Then there's 10 people right here, 10 people right here, 4.8 over here. Everybody see that? So why do you need to be making 80 phone calls a day? Yep, for every 30 people you talk to, there's only going to be 4.8 of those people that are immediately going to be interested in your idea. Then there's going to be 10 people that have to hear it 1 to 3 times. 10 people have to hear it 3 to 7, right? You understand what I'm saying? 1 to 3, 3 to 7, 7 to 15. Which is why you have to go. This tells me everything I need to know about the follow-up, yes or no? If I just come in today and showed you this, and said this is why you have to follow up 7 times. It's based on them. Some people just need more information to make a decision. Some people that are analyzers, engineers, thinkers, they want stats, numbers. They analyze things in a different way. So when you understand different personalities, quick starts would walk in and I'd say this lodge is on sale for 1.7 million. A quick start go, okay, let's do it. They don't care if it appraises. They don't care if it's right. Quick start just makes decisions and goes.
That's Coach Burke's decision.
That's me. That's a Coach Burt decision. But quick starts, there's good and bad to quick starts. Quick starts make quick decisions. Sometimes they're wrong. But they don't think through those. When I worked with John Floyd, the biggest home builder in Tennessee, I saw him on Saturday night. He said he built 750 homes this year. He probably made $30 million personally. And I coached him for 2 years. He was a quick start. He would walk in, look at a piece of land that was millions of dollars and go, buy it, and walk out. And I would be sitting over here like, do we need to talk about it? Do we need to think about this a little bit? This is in the middle of recession. He would walk in, boom, do it. And I was like, are you not afraid? Are you not scared? He's like, no, I'm not afraid. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. But it definitely ain't going to work if I don't do it. That was his philosophy. He made it through that recession, like I said. Word on the street is he made upward of $30 million this year personally, building houses. So he was bold. He was over here. Everybody see that? So if you presented him a good idea, I'm in. If I like it, I do it. He also knows if I don't like it, I'm not doing it. We're not going to sit there and talk about it 10 times. I'm not doing it. So you got to understand the reason we have to go through so much volume and we have to play this follow-up game, which seems to suck, is because of this reason. This is the reason we have to follow up. Okay? Any questions about any of this in this session? Because we're about to take a break. It's 10:09. Jay, how are you and your buddy going to use this? Y'all are in the auction business. How are you going to use it? Listen, in an ideal world, everybody would be early adopters and innovators. But what's the reality? They're not. So you got, if you want to, what you said is right. We're losing a bunch of money when we don't follow up with this person. They haven't seen enough to make a decision yet, but I like them and I think they're interested. If you talk to them, you go, this guy's a complete bozo. We did a session not long ago and somebody brought a person with them and on his way out, I'm like, hey man, will we see you again? And he goes, you know. I told my team, I said, blacklist him. Take him out of the system, out of the emails, out of the phone calls. I don't care if I ever see him again. Because I worked hard today to coach him. And if that's all he's got is, get out. Don't ever come back. I'm okay with that. Because he's not the right person for me. If I try to sell him, it's just because I'm competitive. You understand what I'm saying? Just me be trying to win. But that'd be a waste of time. What if I did sell him? He'd be trying to get out. So when a person, how fast did it take me to figure that out? Less than 15 seconds. Jay faces this a lot because he's had a lot of success in our coaching program, and he tells other real estate agents they should get on our coaching program, and then they give him a bunch of back talk. Well, Coach Burt lives in Murfreesboro. How can he help me? He don't sell real estate. He has to hear all this crap from these people. And Jay's like, let me tell you how much it's helped me in my business. They're not listening to it. Here's what I tell him. Just move on to the next one. If that's how they respond to you, don't even try to sell them. You want one that goes, Jay, tell me how you're doing this. Tell me who's coaching you, who's helping you. That's the one you're looking for. You're not looking for somebody you got to try to hard sell. So when I say 15 seconds, I make up my mind in 15 seconds, right? And if I do, you're going into this system, hit list, farm club, and we're going to work that whole cycle, okay? If not, we're just going to move on. 7.5 billion people, folks, on planet Earth. There's even evidence there's a few people on Mars. We don't even know yet. You could sell those people something too. Here's my point. There's no shortage of money. There's certainly no shortage of opportunity. There may be a shortage of creativity on your part or a shortage of effort on your part, but there ain't no shortage of opportunity. You just got to get better, okay? Now, when we come back, we're going to move into getting a person's attention. So we're moving into the 7 things I think you got to do, a 7-touch system to get them in the door. Everybody see that? No matter how good your restaurants are, if you can't get people in the door, don't matter, right or wrong. They got to get in the door to experience it. Some of you try to get on people's schedule, and what do? Right? Already got somebody. All good. Don't need you. Like a little fly. They're like shooing a little fly away from them. That's because there's something you're not doing to get their attention you need to be doing. We're going to call that the person of interest strategy. Okay? We're going to show you how to create something that they're going, okay, I'll take that meeting with you because it seems like you're a big time person. Okay? So let's take a 10-minute break and then we come back.